Welcome to the CompTIA Project Plus Prepcast by baremetalcyber.com. Project tracking charts are a staple in a project manager's toolkit because they take complex schedules and turn them into something you can see and understand at a glance. They help you visualize how tasks connect, where dependencies lie, and whether you're keeping to the timeline. Tools like Gantt charts, Milestone charts, PERT charts, and network diagrams each bring a different perspective to project tracking. Knowing when and how to use them can make the difference between a plan that sits on paper and one that actually guides execution. Gantt charts are probably the most recognized project tracking tool. They display tasks as horizontal bars stretched across a timeline, showing when work starts, when it ends, and how long it will take. You can quickly see overlaps between activities, which tasks run in sequence, and how the schedule unfolds in real time. They're especially common in traditional or hybrid projects, where detailed planning is essential. The strength of a Gantt chart is in its clarity. It provides a visual snapshot that communicates schedule details to just about anyone. You can see progress against plan, track the critical path, and understand how delays might ripple through the schedule. The trade-off is that on very complex projects, the chart can become crowded and harder to read. Another limitation is that while it shows timing, it doesn't inherently show the logic behind why tasks are connected. Milestone charts shift the focus from every task to the big moments that matter. A milestone is a significant event or checkpoint, like a major deliverable or an approval date. These charts show when those key points are expected and whether they've been achieved. They're about signaling progress at the macro level rather than tracking every individual action. Because they keep the view simple, milestone charts are perfect for executive summaries and high-level stakeholder updates. They emphasize commitments and outcomes without burying people in details. Often, they're used alongside Gantt charts, one for the full plan, the other for quick updates on the major markers that matter most. PERT charts, short for Program Evaluation Review Technique, bring a different dimension to tracking. Instead of focusing purely on a fixed schedule, PERT uses a network diagram to show tasks, durations, and dependencies while also accounting for uncertainty. Originally developed for defense and research projects, PERT is built for situations where timelines aren't entirely predictable. A PERT chart uses 3 time estimates for each task: optimistic, pessimistic, and most likely. From these, a weighted average produces an expected duration. This gives you a more realistic view of how long the work might take, especially in complex projects where tasks don't always go as planned. It's a method designed to help you plan contingencies and reduce surprises. The key difference between PERT and Gantt lies in what they emphasize. PERT is about mapping dependency logic and handling uncertain durations, making it great for early planning. Gantt is about laying out a committed schedule and tracking actual progress, making it ideal for execution. Many project managers use both, starting with PERT to shape the plan and then shifting to Gantt for delivery. Network diagrams, sometimes called precedence diagrams or activity-on-node charts, focus entirely on the logic and flow of work. Each task is represented as a node, with arrows showing the order in which tasks must occur and the type of dependency between them. This makes them powerful for visualizing the underlying structure of a project. One of the main uses of a network diagram is to identify the critical path, the longest sequence of dependent tasks that determines the shortest possible project duration. Any delay on this path will delay the entire project, so understanding it allows you to prioritize where you focus time compression or risk mitigation efforts. Understanding task dependencies is central to both PERT and network diagrams. Dependencies can be start to start, finish to finish, start to finish, or finish to start. These relationships define how tasks impact each other's timing and must be accurate for the diagram to reflect reality. Without them, any logic-based chart will be incomplete or misleading. Network diagrams have strong advantages. They provide clear logic, make critical path analysis possible, and adapt well to different project sizes. But like PERT, they can become complex and harder to read in very large projects. They also don't show the overall schedule view as cleanly as a Gantt chart does. That's why many project managers pair them with Gantt charts to get both logic and timeline in one view. Selecting the right chart type depends on the project's needs. Gantt charts are best for visual timelines and resource tracking. PERT is more useful for uncertain durations and early critical path analysis. Network diagrams shine in mapping logical task relationships. Milestone charts are the simplest way to communicate high-level progress to non-technical audiences. Using the right tool at the right time keeps your tracking clear and actionable. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. In complex projects, you rarely rely on just one tracking chart. Combining tools can give a more complete picture, such as pairing a Gantt chart with a PERT diagram. This layering lets you see both the logical sequence of tasks and the timing in one integrated view. Using complementary visuals also helps when you have different stakeholder groups. Technical teams may need the detailed dependencies, while executives just want to see the high-level milestones. Software options for creating and managing these charts are plentiful. Tools like Microsoft Project, Smartsheet, and Primavera are well known for supporting Gantt charts. PERT and network diagrams are often generated automatically from the task logic you enter into these tools. Many modern platforms are cloud-based, allowing live updates, real-time collaboration, and role-based permissions so that everyone sees the most current schedule. Exporting and sharing charts is a practical part of the process. You may need to generate PDFs, images, or embedded versions for presentations or formal reports. Sometimes a static snapshot works best for a particular reporting cycle, while in other cases you'll share a live link so stakeholders can explore the details themselves. The choice of format should depend on who the audience is, what access they have, and how often the information will change. Maintaining chart accuracy is critical. A chart is only useful if it reflects the real state of the project. That means updating it regularly to match actual progress, adjust durations, and reflect changes in dependencies. Stale or inaccurate charts lead to poor decisions and a false sense of security. Assigning clear ownership for chart maintenance ensures accountability. Stakeholder expectations for visuals vary widely. Executives often prefer milestone or summary charts that keep the focus on key outcomes and delivery dates. Project managers and team members rely on more detailed Gantt charts or network diagrams to guide day-to-day execution. Tailoring the chart type and level of detail to the audience helps keep them engaged and confident in the plan. Charts also have a role in change management. When a change request affects the schedule, you can use visual tools to show exactly why dates are shifting or dependencies are being realigned. This makes it easier for stakeholders to understand the impact. Re-baselining updating your official plan to reflect approved changes often involves revising charts to match the new reality. Even agile environments have a place for visual schedule tools. While agile teams often track work with burn-down charts or Kanban boards, hybrid projects may need to present information in more traditional formats for governance or stakeholder reporting. Many agile-friendly tools now support both sprint tracking and Gantt-style views, so you can bridge the gap between adaptive and predictive reporting needs. There are some common pitfalls to avoid with tracking charts. Overloading a chart with too much detail can make it unreadable. Forgetting to update dependencies after a scope change can throw off the entire logic flow. And relying solely on visuals without deeper schedule analysis or regular team discussions can give a false sense of progress. Training the team on how to read and interpret charts is worth the time. Even the clearest visual can be misunderstood if people don't know what it represents. A short session to explain chart elements, color codes, and dependencies can improve collaboration and help avoid misalignment. When everyone reads the same chart the same way, meetings are more productive. In some industries, charts also serve as part of the audit and compliance trail. Formal reviews may require you to include Gantt or milestone charts as part of the documentation package. Using version control on these artifacts provides traceability and proof that governance standards were followed. Tracking charts are often linked to the project baseline, the approved version of the plan for scope, schedule, and cost. Variance from that baseline can be visually tracked and analyzed, making it easier to explain why certain changes occurred and what impact they had. This visual connection helps manage stakeholder expectations and keeps alignment on agreed objectives. Even after the project closes, final charts have value. They can be used in retrospectives to identify trends and delays, scope changes, or resource constraints. Archiving them adds to the lessons learned library and gives future project teams real examples to reference when planning. In the end, selecting the right chart comes down to your project's phase, complexity, and audience. Use Gantt and Milestone charts for tracking schedules and PERT or network diagrams for mapping task logic and handling uncertainty. Combining them when needed provides a fuller picture and strengthens communication. The more effectively you use these tracking tools, the more control you'll have over both the plan and the execution. Thank you for listening. Please follow baremetalcyber.com on social media and check out our books at cyberauthor.me.